finding was that things seemed to be going backwards a little bit. I had a lot of pain in my body, a lot of inflammation, and I wasn't sure why. And then I had ferritin tests done, and that explained what was going on. And so now I'm working on reducing my ferritin, and it's working really well. Hi there, my name is Sue. Welcome to my channel. As I said, I've been eating a carnivore diet for a bit over 3 years now. So I was 3 years in May, and I'm not strict carnivore all the time, but pretty close. That's why my channel now is called Almost Carnivore. And so when I first started on this journey, even though I still had a lot going on initially, I felt so much better straight away, and that well-being continued, and I kept feeling better and better and better. But what I found over the last probably close to 12 months is that well-being started to feel like it was kind of going backwards. Now, the first thing that I remember really noticing was last summer. So we're just at the end of winter here in New Zealand, if you're overseas and getting confused about my timing. So last summer, I noticed that my feet were swelling. Now, historically, I've had a lot of problems with my feet swelling right since I was a teenager. But after starting on carnivore, I didn't have any problems with my feet swelling really. And then last summer, they were doing it quite a bit for no apparent reason. Since then, I started to notice that I just felt like I had a lot more inflammation in my body. I had a lot of body pain. I wasn't sleeping as well, and I had muscle pain and joint pain and just wasn't feeling great. My energy was lower, and I definitely wasn't improving anymore. I definitely felt like I was going backwards. Now, I had a feeling that I should have a ferritin test. I've looked into iron and iron overload a little bit since being on carnivore. Just learned a bit more about it, I guess, and the problems that it can cause. And I'd seen people talking about ferritin, and it wasn't a test that I'd had done, and I had a feeling that I probably should. So what ended up happening was, I was talking to different people that I communicate with on X, and I decided to go and donate blood. So I booked my first blood donation, but I had to wait 2 months, I think, from the time that I booked it. So it ended up being booked for the end of May. And I went and I had my first ferritin test in April to see whether my levels were indeed high, and they were. So my levels in April came in at 510, and I wasn't sure why this was going on. I was like, why is my ferritin high? When you look at the mainstream information, it tells you that ferritin can be high as the result of something going on in your body. So it can be, according to mainstream, it can be liver disease, it can be cancer, it can be just an infection of some sort that your body's reacting to, which normally passes, reasonably quickly. So I thought, okay, well, I'll leave it until just before I donate blood, and I'll go and have another test done. So I think it was about 5 or 6 weeks between those two tests. So I went and I had another test done in May, and my levels had gone up even higher. So I was hoping that they would have gone down, and they had actually gone up. So they had gone up to 540 in May, and so I kind of knew that this was probably why I wasn't feeling great. Whether it was the cause of me not feeling great, or whether something else was going on that was then causing the high ferritin, I wasn't sure. But anyway, I went and I donated blood, and then I started digging into information around ferritin to try and work out how to reverse it and what actually might be going on. Now, there seems to be a different school of thought based on studies around ferritin, and that is that the ferritin, because ferritin is a protein that your body uses to bind iron. So if your iron levels are too high, your body is going to increase ferritin to bind the iron up. Now, all of these diseases that mainstream are saying can cause high ferritin levels can be, according to the studies, can be the result of high iron, because iron causes oxidative stress and all of these problems in our body. You know, if you think of iron on the outside and in the world around us, and you see it rusting, that's basically what iron does in our body if it's too high. So it causes all sorts of problems. We do need some iron in our bodies, obviously, it's essential, but we only need a small amount, and it's really common for people to end up with high iron, from what I've learned, because there are different foods that are fortified with it. So a lot of breakfast cereals are fortified with iron. Apparently in the States, their flour, so all of their bread products and baked products are fortified with iron. And then people take supplements that have iron in them as well. So there's a lot of ways that we end up with excess iron in our body. Now, for women, when we're menstruating, it's not such a big deal because we're losing iron in our blood that we're passing every month when we with our menstrual cycle. For men, their iron and their ferritin levels tend to start rising from a fairly young age in their 20s. So when our iron is too high, then our ferritin is likely to be high. And so from what I can gather from some of the information that I've looked at and reading a book called Dumping Iron by a gentleman by the name of P.D. Mangan, high ferritin basically means your iron is too high. So this is your body trying to protect you from the excess iron that's in your body. Okay, so I've been postmenopausal for quite a lot of years now. I went into menopause pretty quickly and pretty early, quickly. And so chances are my body's been building up iron for quite a while, and especially with all my gut issues and things that have been going on, I suspect that's all been part of it, having leaky gut and everything. So I don't know how long my iron levels have been climbing, my iron and ferritin levels have been climbing for, but obviously being on a carnivore diet, they probably shot up because of what was going on in my body. So what level should our ferritin be? According to P.D. Mangan in his book, he has somewhat lower levels than some other places I've looked at. I know everything that I've looked at says that the levels we have on our pathology reports are way too high. So here in New Zealand, it says between 20 and 300, I think, is normal. But the ideal ferritin levels for P.D. Mangan is between 20 and 40 for women, and between 20 and I think it's 80 for men. It was either 80 or 100. I'm pretty sure it was 80. In Dr. Berry's Common Sense Labs book, which is a fantastic book that I'll link to below, and other people that I've listened to who are kind of more on the natural side of things, or alternative side of things, I guess, say that under 80 is the ideal for both men and women for our ferritin levels. Now, my ferritin, when I was tested in April, came in at 510. So that's fairly up there. Not as up there as some people. Some people are in the thousands from what I've seen, but 510 was obviously pretty high for me, and I was feeling it. And then, as I said, I left it for a few weeks just before I donated blood for the first time, and it came in at 540. So it had gone up by another 30 points in about a month, or just over a month. So it was climbing reasonably high. Now, I had my ferritin test yesterday, and I got the results this morning, and drum roll, it's 300. So it has gone down by 240 points in 3 months, which I'm pretty ecstatic about because I did not expect it to go down that much. From everything that I've seen in P.D. Mangan's book, and even when you look online, it says that phlebotomy, so donating blood, will reduce your ferritin levels on average between about 30 and 50 points for each time you donate blood. So I remember when I read that, I remember saying to my husband, okay, so I'm probably going to be donating blood regularly for the next couple of years because it's probably going to take me 18 months to 2 years at that rate to get my levels down under 80. But I'm down 240 points already. And so if that happens again over the next 3 months, I'll be pretty much in that ideal range, which has me a little bit excited because I don't know how long it's been since I've been in that ideal range. I know that I was quite a lot of years ago. The last time I had my ferritin tested pre-carnivore was when I was in my 30s or 40s, and my level was 35 back then. But I don't know, since I hit menopause, I'm not sure, because they haven't been tested until April this year. So I'm quite excited about that. So obviously blood donation helps to remove iron and lower ferritin. So a lot of people use that as a strategy to reduce their iron levels and their ferritin levels. But as I said, that can take some time, because for most people that drops it between 30 and 50 points. So if your ferritin level is way too high, it can be a few years before you actually get it down to where you want it to be. Other strategies that people use, I mean, the general advice is to stop eating red meat or to slow down on the red meat. There is no way I'm slowing down my red meat. It's done so much for my health, so that's not even an option for me. I am eating that red meat every single day and loving it. So I had to find some other strategies. There are ways to inhibit iron absorption, and when it comes to, so there are two different types of iron. There's heme iron, which is found in red meat, and then there's non-heme, which is found in plant sources. There are quite a few plant foods that you can eat with plants that will stop your body from absorbing or inhibit the absorption of the non-heme iron. But there's only one thing that inhibits, one food that inhibits the absorption of heme iron, and that is calcium. So eating dairy with red meat is a great idea. The dairy, the way that it works is it inhibits the iron absorption by the calcium binds to, got it on my computer here, the calcium binds to the divalent metal transporter 1, so DMT1, which is responsible for transporting iron across the intestinal cell's apical membrane. This binding can reduce the amount of iron that is transported into the cell. So that's one way that calcium works. It also interferes with the transfer of iron from the intestinal cell into the bloodstream. So calcium is beneficial with your red meat if you have high ferritin. Okay, so I have been having cheese. I have kefir every evening after dinner, and I've been having cheese with my meat as well. So every time I have red meat, I have some cheese with it. I've just been doing that. I don't know whether it's necessary, because I'm also taking a supplement to inhibit, but the supplement works in a different way. So there are a number of supplements that can help to reduce iron absorption in the body. I can't remember what the other ones are, but the one that I chose to use is resveratrol. So, and the reason I chose it is because resveratrol has a whole pile of other benefits as well. It's great for anti-aging, and probably because it helps to reduce iron. But yeah, it has all these other benefits, and I was already taking NMN, and I've done a couple of videos talking about the NMN, how I started taking it. It wasn't something I ever planned to take, and how much it helped my bowel issues. It just was an absolute miracle. And NMN is great for anti-aging. It increases NAD in the body. I've done videos, so I will try and remember to link to those below the video if you want to go and check those out. But resveratrol works really well with NMN, so they are synergistic. I'm actually taking NMN, resveratrol, and TMG, which is trimethylglycine. So TMG, I'm taking that because I have methylation issues, because I have MTHFR genetic variations, and that can affect homocysteine and different things. I've spoken about that in past videos as well. But those three supplements together are synergistic. They work really well together, and so that was another reason I chose to use the resveratrol. So I started taking resveratrol, and I take 1 capsule a day. I think it's 500 milligrams. I will put a link to the brand of resveratrol that I take below. I'm using the same brand for the resveratrol and the NMN and the TMG, and I'll link to those. And I'm pretty sure it's 500 milligrams that I'm taking of the resveratrol, but it's 1 of their capsules a day. So resveratrol works differently from the calcium, and that was what I was getting to, is that the resveratrol increases the production of hepcidin. So hepcidin is a hormone that our body produces and uses to regulate iron absorption. It directly influences iron metabolism pathways in cells as well. So it has a hormonal effect that affects how much iron our bodies are absorbing, versus the calcium that just inhibits the pathways. So I'm kind of using both. I'm using both of those plus the blood donation. So I'm going to donate blood again next week, and then I'll leave it for, you've got to leave it at least 2 months to have your ferritin levels tested again, because it takes that long for things to balance out after donating blood. So I will probably leave it closer to the 3 months again, like I did this time, and get my levels tested again and see where they're at. I was excited this time because I knew that my ferritin levels had changed just because of the way I felt. I have been feeling amazing. I'm going to do a video on this, how much things have changed and everything that I'm doing, because I'm doing a few things. But I have just, over the last couple of months, but especially over the last few weeks, things have just got better and better and better. My mental health, my physical health, my energy. I'm back exercising and back feeling amazing after exercising instead of feeling tired. I want to exercise. You know, it's like I feel like I'm getting the me back that was there a long time ago. It hasn't been there for a long time. So that's pretty exciting. So I really don't want to change anything right now in the supplements that I'm taking and what I'm doing, because it's working. And I just, everything's working. And so that's where I'm at. And having my ferritin lower that much surprised me. I didn't expect it to go down that much. I thought, maybe I might go down 100 if I'm lucky, but it went down 240 points. So to get, at 300, I only need another 220, and I'm down at that 80 level. So that's got me really feeling very excited and very optimistic and very blessed that I have obviously come across the right information once again to sort myself out. So that's where I'm at. If you have any comments or questions, do pop those below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. If you like the video, do make sure to subscribe and all that sort of stuff. If you're interested in going back and watching some of my older videos where I've talked about the things that I've talked about in this video, as I said, I will put some links below this one, so you can go and check those out. And that's it. And I thank you very much for watching and listening to me today. If you have high ferritin, know that you can sort it out. It's maybe not as hard as you might think it is. And I will talk to you again another day. Goodbye for now.